welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Iyoluwa Ajayi, and if this is your first time here, you're welcome, absolutely welcome. I film about faith, lifestyle, career, relationships, and a host of other good stuff, and I film from Lagos, Nigeria. Please subscribe if you haven't. And recently I've been doing a series on Chevening because I know that the applications are currently open and a number of you will be applying. A number of you have reached out to me that they want to apply, they need tips and all of that. So that's why I decided to film this series of videos. So this is the second in the series. So if you have not watched the first one, I'm going to link in the description box so that you can ensure that you watch that one first. It's frequently asked questions about the Chevening scholarship. Everything you need to know is in that video. So today I'm going to be giving a mini chit chat. This video is majorly for people that are either very scared of getting rejected from Chevening or have been rejected once. So I said in my video last week that I applied for Chevening in 2020 and the result came out in 2021. I was rejected, and again I applied in 2021 October, and I was accepted this year. So I want to give you an insight into a few things that I feel kind of tipped the scale in my favor, so to say. So I'm just going to be, it's not going to be a long video, so ensure that you don't skip any parts. It's very important. If you don't want to get rejected, or if you have been rejected once and you want to get accepted this second time, or this third, or this fourth, or this, I know people that apply for Chevening 4 or 5 times. I don't have that bandwidth. I already planned that if they don't give me the second time, I'm not doing it again. But yeah, we bless the Lord. So if you have been watching this channel, you know that when I say I'm looking down, is because I have my notes written here. So let's get right into it. The first thing that I think I did differently was I gained more experience. So for those that know me, I studied law from the University of Ibadan. I finished in 2018. I went to the law school in 2019. And 2020 was my service year. So if you're not Nigerian, your service year is the compulsory national youth service program that it's voluntary really, but many people do it the year after your graduation. So 2020 was my service year, but I was working at a law firm as an associate, a top tier law firm in Nigeria, in Lagos, Nigeria, as an associate. So I really actually felt like I knew what I wanted. I didn't have a lot of experience, but I feel like I had the basics. I started working in January 2020 and I was applying in October 2020. So I had 10 months of experience, and coupled with internships that I'd done in the past and volunteer experience, I was able to exceed the required work hours. If you don't know what required work hours means for Chevening, it means you have not watched the last video I made. So go back and go and watch it. So I'd met that requirement. So I just felt like I know what I want. Let me just apply and everything. So I put pen to paper and I applied, and they turned me down. So, but what I think I did differently this year was that when I was applying, I had almost 2 years experience, post school experience, not even internships. And the fact that I had so much exposure, this particular point also helped my Cambridge application, because by the time I was reapplying to Cambridge again, I had garnered so much experience and it was very easy. My essays came naturally to me because I knew what the problem was and I knew what I needed to do to solve the problem. So it wasn't anything extraordinary. So what I discovered, or what my area is, Masters in Law and Finance. And how did I come about that? So I'm going to tell you how experience helped me tell my story better. So I discovered that when I had to join a team, we advise transactions in teams in my firm. So it's not a one-man thing. So I discovered that every time we had to do a corporate transaction or a finance transaction, there were financial terms that I didn't understand. There were financial concepts that I didn't understand. And these things are not purely finance. They also relate to law. So I didn't understand some finance concepts. I didn't understand how they related to law. And I discovered that it actually was affecting my, how do I put it now? It was affecting my usefulness on those transactions, because every time when they say it, I'll have to take a break, go to Google, search, what is this, what is this, what is this? So in my head, I didn't even know that there was a course like that existed. But in my head, I was thinking it will make sense for me to look for a postgraduate degree that will help me understand the relationship between law and finance, that will introduce me to financial concepts, that would help me to so that when I'm on transactions, I don't need to be calling somebody in KPMG, in PwC, or in finance to explain a financial concept to me. It will make sense for me to have that knowledge as well, so that I can fuse it with my knowledge of law and my practice will be better. That was what I wanted. So it wasn't anything extraordinary. That's why I said when you gain more experience, and it makes sense that Chevening is asking you for 2 years experience, because when you have worked postgraduate for 2 years, you're likely to identify what you want to do. Some people are lucky, they don't have to work that long to identify it. But for me, that problem, I didn't see it in 2020 when I was applying. That problem became more obvious to me after I spent like a year at the law firm. So it's important to gain experience. Ensure if you have not gained enough experience, maybe, just maybe, you should not apply. And this is just me being very candid. I feel like experience helps you tell your story better. If somebody had told me this in 2020, I would have not applied. I would have waited till I had more experience before applying. But I mean, I learned from the process as well. But I'm just saying that ensure that your story is born out of experience. It's not just born out of I want to do a master. That's why I did not apply for a pure LLM, because I knew that a pure LLM would not solve my problem. So ensure that your experience is reflected in your story, and that's one thing I did better this year that I did not do in my first application. The second thing is identify a problem and tie your essays to it. This is very closely related to gaining more experience. Ensure that all your essays are telling a story regarding that problem that you have identified. Your leadership experience should be telling stories of leadership and how you have used opportunities where you were placed in leadership positions to change stuff. Your career plan should be saying, this knowledge that I'm going to go and gain, this is what I'm going to use it to do. It's not enough to just say, oh, I'm going to come back and go back to my current place of employment. Like I said, you're required to come back. So I'm going to go back to my place of employment and do this and do this. Is it relating to that problem you said you have solved? For me, that said that I would be more useful on transactions, coming back home, these are the things that knowledge would help me do better. Do you get? So everything, all your essays must identify a problem. Sorry, you must have identified a problem, and all your essays must be tied to that problem. And it need not be a general problem. The fact that people are doing human rights does not mean that you need to do human rights. You just need to be. When I was applying for Chevening, I actually felt like it's not likely that Chevening will want to fund me, because my problem did not seem to be a general problem. But look at me today. So it's once you are very passionate about that problem, you know that it's a problem. You're not just forging it. And this is stemming from experience. You know that it's a problem. You know that going for that additional degree will help you solve that problem, will make you useful to your country, to the interest of the United Kingdom in your country. Go for it. So that's the second one. The third one is to tell a single story. This is extremely important. Your essays, yes, they have different questions. Yes, they have the question of leadership is different from that on networking, is different from that on career plan. But if anybody reads your entire essay, it should read like a story that they now divided into 4, if you get what I mean. So it shouldn't be disjointed. You can't be saying you want to study finance, and in your post-career plan, you're saying you're going to come back to litigation to go and be representing people in court. There's a disjoint, so to say. I hope that English is correct. But there's a disconnect. Do you get? So you have to ensure that your essays are telling a single story. If you're saying you want to do something in corporate, when you're coming back, what are your post-study plans that relates to the area of corporate law? If you say you want to do something related to the girl child, when you're coming back, you cannot be saying you want to come and do environment. So your essays must tell a single story. In fact, I could even advise that you write your entire story together. Assume that leadership, networking, studying the UK, and post-study career plan, write everything together if you can, and then break it into 4. That way you're sure that your story is very consistent from the beginning to the end. You don't have to do this, you don't have to write it together. Even if you're writing it separately, you can still ensure that you're telling a single story. After writing the 4, carry that book or carry that tab or carry whatever it is you're reading it on. Read it. Is this thing consistent? Is my post-career study plan consistent with what I'm going to do in the UK? My networking and how I intend to use the Chevening network to build my career, is it linking to what I'm saying, what I've said that I want to go and do in the UK? Do you get? So the importance of a single story, it cannot be overemphasized. The fourth point is be very careful with your university choices and be able to defend them. See, it's not enough to say you want to go to an Ivy League, and by Ivy League I mean like the very top schools, Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, you know, all the big schools and all of that. It necessarily does not have to be your focus. You need to look for the university that is very good in your course. For instance, I know that a lot of people, like from my interaction with like present and former Chevening scholars, I know that a lot of people go to Chevening for development studies, and I heard that it's like the #1 university for development studies, maybe in the UK or in the world. I'm not sure what it is. So you really want to ensure that you're not just choosing Oxford because you want to go to Oxford. Is your course good at Oxford? Oxford is a great university. I mean, it's my university now. Oxford is like bam. But if your course is not great at Oxford, if your course can be done better or has better course modules, better course content in another university, you need to let go of the dream of I must study at Oxford, I must study at Cambridge, because then you may not be able to defend it as much as you would if you were picking a school that is very specific to your course. So you need to ensure that your choices are like well thought. Google best school to study human rights. It can be a university that does not even have a big name, but they are known for like the best human rights course modules. That way, when you're writing your essays, you're able to like defend your choice of university, that I want to go to maybe University of Reading, University of Birmingham, University of Edinburgh, whatever it is, that because I have researched and in the scale of universities for this course, this university is the best. So don't just like choose random schools. I like Oxford, I like Cambridge, I like LSE, I like UCL, I like this. Look for the course that you're doing. Look for the school that has the most useful course content and ensure that that's what you're picking. So this boils down to research. You don't want to do mindless picking. You actually do not want to do mindless picking, because they will ask you. You should be able to defend them in your essays. You should be able to defend them at the interviews as well. The final thing I want to mention, I said I was going to discuss 5 points. The final thing is the God factor. Like I said in my last video, I'm a believer and it influences everything I do. I mean, that's who I am. So I feel like if you're a believer and you're watching this video and you really want the Chevening scholarship, you need to talk to God about it. So I'm not like the poster child for like faith when in this entire process. I mean, people that are very close to me know how doubtful I was about, would I get the Chevening scholarship? Am I good enough? Is my course a UK priority area? Would they be willing to fund? My school fees is a lot. Oxford tuition for my program is £42,000. That's like close to 30 million naira. So I'm like, are these people willing to like do this? What's in it for them? It was a lot of doubt at some point. The fact that if you watch my last video, you remember that I was saying I submitted before I wanted to submit. So thinking about all of that, in my interview, there was a question that I did not answer. They asked 2 questions at once and I answered only one. I forgot. It was weeks after that I remember that God, they asked me this question and I did not answer. So these are some of the things that the ways doubt crept in the entire process. But I tried my best to hold on to God. Like every time doubt crept in, and that's why I'm grateful for the people that God surrounded me with, my friends. Like people just kept telling me, you are going to get this thing. My siblings, my fiance, like people just kept telling me that you're going to get this thing, you're going to get this thing, you're going to get this thing. So it really helps my faith as well. So if you're a believer, you really need to like, I know that every time you're supposed to hold on to God, but maybe in this process, you need to hold on to God tighter. Of course, after you've spoken to God about it and God, I want to apply for this thing. Are you giving me a go ahead and all of that? And after you've done your own work as well, because you know that faith without works is dead. So you need to like put in the work. And that's why I started with all these things, that you need to do your part. Then after that, hold on to get a promise from God about the application process by itself. Get a word, and that way you can hold on to it. There was a scripture that somebody kept sending to me during this my wait process. So, and it really helps me. Every time he sent it to me, I will read it to myself. And it helps my faith. So the God factor is like very important. I felt like God was just in on it this year, because the way I said in my last video, I used almost the same essays. I just like twisted it based on all these things I've told you. I changed my inverses. I was able to defend them better. I'd gotten more experience. My essays were telling a single story, and I feel like God was just in on it. That's why I got it. So these are the 5 things that I feel like I did differently, that I did differently last year, that made my application better than the one I submitted in 2020. So if you've been rejected before, I feel like you should go and revise your essays based on these things I've discussed. If you are applying for the first time, you don't have to get a rejection before getting an acceptance. I have people that got it on their first shot. So excuse me, I have people that got it on their first shot. So if you are able to like put these things into practice, hopefully you're not going to get a rejection. So that's the end of this video. Those are things I want to share. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe guys. This is like the second in the series, and I still have like 5-6 more videos coming. The next video, we're going to be diving straight into the writing of the essays. You don't want to miss it, because it's just what it is. So I'm going to be diving into the essays one after the other, telling you how to write it and the things to look out for. Thank you very much for watching this video, and see you guys on the next one.